Hi everybody, this is Kendra with Kendra Pennington Holistic Self-Healing. So I wanted to talk about the energy that's coming up within today and throughout the entire month of November almost. Okay, so we're going to have a lot of stuff happen astrologically, but what it's saying is that you are going to have this light shed on your darkness. There will be nowhere to hide if you're wearing your mask. That unauthenticity is not to be tolerated because you're going to see right through it. Okay, so I totally believe that astrology has this energy that does affect every single person on the planet. The way it affects you is different, and the severity of it is obviously different because you're a unique human soul. Okay, but overall, in general, why is it bringing this up? Because I believe that we all have masks that we wear. We all are unauthentic. All of us are. In some way or another, we are not being our true selves in fear of something, right? So then I came to the conclusion today, like, how has this been you, Kendra? Like, what has happened to you? And so the only way that I can explain it to everyone else is by sharing my own experience of how this all balances, and it's a whole body kind of wellness scenario for you whenever you are looking at all of these different modalities and aspects. So I look at the fact that whenever I was small, I might have had something happen in utero, and for my caregiving years, I did have something happen whenever I was in those stages of being cared for. Survival mode kicked in because I had lost trust with one or more of my caregivers. So a caregiver is someone who took care of you while you were a child. So it doesn't have to be your mom and dad. So my dad left and there was no father figure in my life, okay? So then there stems rejection, abandonment in that way. Then one of my caregivers had molested me, and I was so young that I don't remember it, but there's documentation and proof and that kind of thing. And so I believe that that was instilled within my body. Well, then we compile, right? So then we compile into, I'm 19 years old. I want to create like a partnership. Like I want to date somebody because my mom wouldn't let me date until I get out of high school. So I had this really grand idea of what that would be, and I didn't want to believe that it was all of the bad stuff that I had grown up with and saw in my family. But little did I know, like with epigenetics and the already energy within my vortex of all of that other stuff, I mean, a lot more than that, but all of that drew a person into my life, a partner into my life that was really bad, right? That wasn't really great if as far as you're thinking like a healthy relationship. So then after that, it just was so traumatic, and I explained that in one of my other videos, that it just compiled and compiled and compiled with all of these other people. Well, today, reading the polyvagal theory, I actually realized that my body cognitively was like, yes, relationships are very important. Yes, you want to be in a relationship. But my body, the body as a functioning nervous system, was like, no, this is not going to happen, because you know what happened last time you trusted someone, way back whenever it was your caregiving years, because this is my story, right? So this is what happened to me. My body sensed that I could not trust. So the two vagal pathways that work really harmoniously together, which enable that social engagement system of trusting somebody, was downgraded. It was like, hey, no, we're not going to do that. Okay? So then, like, there's this fight, flight that's always happening with my body while I was in relationships. Now, this doesn't happen anymore. My last relationship actually was the turning point for me on all of this stuff because I was able to educate myself. So then we get into wearing a mask. So whenever you're in a relationship, you want to be authentic. You're in that relationship, and in a healthy relationship, you both realize that you're both mirrors to each other. And you're like, hey, here's your darkness. Let's shed some light on that. Here's your darkness. Let's shed some light on that. And then we can grow and heal together. It is not up to the other person to heal you, but you're together to heal these parts of you because you're aware of it. It's this mirror. Actually, every relationship is a mirror to you. You getting getting upset with someone on the highway is a mirror to you. Like, hey, how can I, what's this triggering in my body? What is this saying about me? What can I fix? That kind of thing. Like, how am I to do this? So in a healthy relationship, you both are aware of that. You're independent and you help each other out. You create that safe zone, that kind of thing. So I am now going to go into being authentic. What does that mean? Well, one of the women I was talking to just this week said that her preacher, pastor, whatever it is, within her congregation, person who was giving the sermon said that he wanted to talk about authenticity, because I think it's a word that gets thrown around just willy-nilly and we don't really understand what it means. Like, be your authentic self. Like, do you really want to be your authentic self? Because I'm pretty positive that you've been lying at some point throughout your entire life, because all of us have. All of us have been unauthentic at some point in our lives, whether it be just like saying that you like a certain color whenever you don't like a color. There's a reasoning behind that, and most of the time it's acceptance and fear of something, rejection, abandonment, that kind of thing. So anyway, he gets up there and his wife is in the front row, and he says that when they first got married that he cheated on her. They stayed together, all of this stuff. Well, that's great that he went up there and did that, and I believe that it's really important to be truthful with people, and I think that everyone can learn a lesson from that, because if the people that you are telling your truth to leave, then okay, bye. Then be your truthful self. Does that mean that you go and you're like really mean to people and you're like, oh, well, I'm this way because I'm gonna blame this person, and I'm this way and I don't feel good, so I'm gonna spew my shit all over you? No, that awareness though is key. That pausing and being like, do I like this color? That kind of thing. So if you get back to it though, in their relationship, yes, I believe there should have been counseling before there was a point of cheating. There's always some sort of trauma, of trigger, of this disassociation, of this fight or flight, of this physiological versus cognitive. There's always this root issue that happened whenever you were literally born or before you were born that is causing all of these things for you to be unauthentic. And it is super refreshing whenever you're confident enough to be like, hey, I'm going to speak my truth, and it's okay if you have a different truth than me, and it's okay if you have a different opinion because you're a different person, but this is just who I am. And that's just going to have to be good enough because it's good enough for me. And whenever you get shown your darkness, whenever you get shown that you've made a mistake, admit your mistake. I made a mistake. That was unintentional. No guilt, no shame. Don't jump on that train. Say bye as it goes. And just do better next time. Say, I'm going to do better next time. This is how I'm going to do better next time. That kind of thing. So am I saying, is it okay to be in an emotionally, physically, or mentally abusive relationship where this is a cycle and the person goes back and says, oh, I'm so sorry, I'm going to do something better, and they don't? No. And if that is happening to you, I totally think that you should go somewhere where a crisis center is and get out of that situation. Go to a therapist or counselor, and they're free at crisis center if you are in that type of relationship. So getting into another space, not feeling guilt and shame whenever we have made a mistake. We have spent years and years and years protecting ourselves, surviving. Okay? He cheated on his wife. No, that wasn't great, but he was surviving. At some point in his life, this was a survival mechanism. Again, I'm not saying that it's okay to cheat on somebody, but I am saying that at some point in my life, I found it to be a survival mechanism, to be a selfish butthead to people, and to not care about someone's feelings, and to not really be in a relationship when I was in a relationship, and to not be who I was, and be able to say no to somebody. I was surviving. So say thank you to yourself. Say, thank you, body, for helping me survive. Now that I'm aware of this, though, this isn't the best energy, and I really want to change what's going on, so I'm going to do that. And it's really uncomfortable. You've spent years surviving, wearing a mask, being unauthentic. But this is time for you to change. There's so many modalities out there, and that is what I do for people, is I create this whole body balance. And I'm like, hey, this is how we can implement a bunch of different strategies slowly and help you to progressively guide yourself into a state of homeostasis with your parasympathetic, sympathetic nervous system, both of your vagal nerves, by using these techniques. And this is how it can be sustained, but it's up to you because it's self-healing. Okay, there's a lot of other ways and measurable facts that my friend Derek is actually talking about whenever he gets all of his stuff going. And that's super helpful too. But as of right now, whenever this energy comes up in this next month, look at it, write it down, and say, hey, this is something dark and it's being shown to me, and I want to change it. And it's uncomfortable whenever you start to implement change, because remember, your body cognitively is like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. But then your physiological self is like, no, you're not. No. Remember what happened last time? Okay. So that's why we have to get in front of this. You can have really positive thoughts and really like, I'm going to change this. But unless we get in front of how to change your heart rate and how to change your breathing patterns and just everything that kind of goes along with that, there's a lot that goes along with that, then it's a little harder because it's very uncomfortable. But take this time, especially whenever it is astrologically, whenever this energy is here, whenever you feel it, even if it's not now, even if it's like during your life, take time to realize that you've been in survival mode. Your body has protected you. You are not a victim. You are a survivor. And if you would like to stop just being in survival mode, then make that choice to really live and to look at yourself and be authentic. And know that it's okay to be authentic, and let go of the people, places, and things that are going to shift dynamically whenever you are authentic. Because if you're being authentic and you're following your heart and the truth of the matter, and you're getting down into those deep, dark places that need light shed on them so you can heal, that's worth more, because you're going to be a better person. You're going to effectively create change around you. I've come to the point where people who knew me 2 or 3 years ago have come to me and said, wow, I didn't think that people could change, but you have really changed. And I have so much more hope for the people that I think can't change. And that is all it is right there. That's it. All you have to do is be the person, be the example, and you're effectively creating change around you. Okay? So I don't know what you're going to do with your life. And I don't know if this is the time for you to really change, but I know that ride the waves. And if you need any of my help or assistance or guidance or coaching, any of my services, you could just contact me on my website, www.kpholisticselfhealing.com. Bye!